But there's another story breaking here, just to interrupt this in a little bit. I'm seeing a lot of comments about the New York Times obtaining private communications from Project Veritas that was given to them by the FBI.
Whoa.
Will Chamberlain is tweeting about this.
Ooh.
Tucker Carlson just did a segment about this. I was just looking at my phone as you guys were going at it, but this is a major story of the FBI leaking the private communications of Project Veritas. These are some of the preliminary reports and giving it to the New York Times. That's the preliminary reports that are coming out right now. Will Chamberlain is reporting about the legality of it. I mean, this is just yet another horrendous example of a legal justice system that is becoming more bastardized and more political by the day.
Yeah. I stated this in response. So there's a story that progressives are calling for a mistrial in the Rittenhouse case because the judge's phone played "God Bless the USA." And I said, as millennials age into power, the divide in this country will become more and more extreme, and the United States' dissolution seems inevitable. When the FBI raids a journalistic enterprise to leak their communications to another rival ideological institution who then gleefully publishes that information, this is what I'm saying about cultural homogeneity. The journalists at the New York Times should have said, we will never publish this. That's an egregious violation. Instead, they're like, ooh, because they are... We are a culturally bifurcated society.
Yeah. Will will Twitter allow people to tweet about it like the Hunter Biden laptop, or will they not allow tweets because it was obtained illegally? Remember, that's Twitter's standard. Their standard is you can't tweet about stuff that was obtained illegally.
I think it's pretty clear what they're going to do, what fits with their agenda, with their narrative. But to be clear, the FBI, this is what Mike Cernovich is saying, quote, the FBI leaked attorney-client privileged communications from those devices to the New York Times. So this is a major story that's just developing right now that a lot of people have been telling me here in the comment section. But this seems very big and just yet another sign of just how politically biased and insane our current social political climate is right now. Because, I mean, if these allegations that we're seeing...
These people are evil.
I'm asking myself, who...
Adam Goldman of the New York Times. Evil. We've got to stop playing these games. This is a guy who got privileged legal communications under the United States Constitution and our laws and norms. You have a right to legal counsel. And the guy at the New York Times gleefully published this from a rival organization. Why? They want this country to burn. They want power, and they will get it by any means necessary, and they will use the power of the federal government to do it. I am looking at all of you right now, and I am telling you this. The police will kick your door in and bash your teeth out the moment Black Lives Matter protests you. We've already seen it happen. You think this is a joke? James O'Keefe's legal privileged communications were just given to the New York Times, and Adam Goldman, with a smile on his face, published it. He doesn't care about this country. He doesn't care about our norms. These people are at war with you, and they will burn your life to the ground like they're doing to Rittenhouse and like they're doing now to James O'Keefe because you dare oppose their power grab. This is not a joke, and it is getting worse. And in the next 10 years, as we enter the fourth turning and it escalates, it is going to get worse. James O'Keefe is a journalist. The federal government stole his privileged legal communications and gave it to the New York Times, who published it with a smile on their faces. These people do not hold your values. They do not believe in the Constitution. The prosecutor in the Rittenhouse case violated the Constitution. They will do it again. They will do it more, and they will burn down your town, and the feds will protect them, and the police will protect them. Stop thinking the institutions are on your side. This country is being corrupted, and we are watching it every day, and it has gotten to the point where you need to ask yourself, will the police protect you when someone comes to your town and threatens to kill you? No. The detectives in Kenosha, the prosecutor went against the young man who was fleeing for his life. And James O'Keefe, an anti-establishment individual, and I mean that with respect, but he is outright just a journalist, is facing the boot of the authoritarian fascist government. And it will get worse, and it will happen to you because you keep complying. And you keep saying, but my kids need food. And now inflation is here, and there's food shortages, and your kids aren't eating. And the schools are indoctrinating your kids. Now we see a turnaround with Youngkin because the parents are standing up. But too many people keep saying, as long as I keep filleting the state and dropping on my knees for the far left extremists, I will squeak by, and you will not. The police will come to your home. They will kick your door in and they will arrest you because the good cops have already started quitting. And like we saw in Seattle, the police arrested the man who was retreating from Antifa as Antifa approached him with clubs in hand. And they apologized to Antifa over it. Like we saw in the Chaz, when several men unloaded hundreds of rounds into an SUV, and then the extremists stripped the evidence from the vehicle, and none of those people are brought to justice. And now we are at the point where Project Veritas is having their private, privileged, legal communications leaked to the New York Times, who with a smile on their face violate all norms, all respect, and lack all scruples. And you think sitting back and complying will result in you getting by. You are wrong. I'm sick of this.
Preach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you do when the FBI is violating the Constitution? Because you can't call anyone at that point. There's no more authority to appeal to. You have to create your own.
I mean, I don't trust anyone in government because they're even the good ones are weak. I like to think right now Rand Paul is calling Merrick Garland or Rand Paul is calling Christopher Wray saying, what's going on, guys? But even then they're just going to laugh and say, you're in the minority. What are you going to do? Bring me to a hearing?
They couldn't get it done when they were in the majority.
No, exactly.
The Republicans agreed with Russiagate.
Yeah.
They did nothing.
Yeah.
And now I can't believe, I don't think people understand the severity of what we're witnessing right now with Project Veritas.
No.
Hearing this story breaking right now on this show is basically what you need to understand. We are in a neo-communist, fascist, we need a new word for it. State, authoritarian, whatever.
This is technocracy, man. This is it.
Has had evidence of crimes committed in Kenosha. Nothing was done. The state prosecutor instructed the detectives not to execute a search warrant on Gage Grosskreutz, who came with a concealed weapon illegally to a riot. And the state said, no, don't execute the warrant against him. They are burning the country to the ground. They're getting away with it. The FBI is not on the side of justice.
Right.
They are on the side of targeting you, your friends. They will come for you given time. You think maybe you can hide among the masses, but eventually, when the turkeys are all lined up, not a single turkey gets by, all of their heads get removed. Project Veritas just happens to be one of the groups with a longer neck. James O'Keefe stands up and speaks out and goes after the power structure. And the New York Times is a vassal of the authoritarian state. They are a weapon wielded by the authoritarians who have taken over this country and are taking away our rights. And they are raiding the homes of journalists. This is, I just hope you all understand that this moment right now will go down in infamy. You will remember where you were when you learned the FBI began targeting American journalists, because in a year, in 2 years, when there no longer exists any free press, you will ask yourself, how is it that we've gotten to this point where we're hiding underground, where we're fleeing our homes, where we've decided it's no longer safe to live in this country? And you will think back to the day that Project Veritas was raided by the FBI and their legal rights were violated, and that other journalistic institutions gleefully basked in this.
James O'Keefe is the canary in the coal mine. Let's not let him die.
He is.
Let's not let him go down. Seriously, our opinions, our voices do matter. The protests do matter. Us getting involved does matter. If you're going to put your tail between your legs, if you're going to hide, you're going to get hit sooner or later. There's no escaping. There's no running away from this. It's time to face it and to do everything in our power, legally, peacefully, safely, to raise awareness.
Persuasive, and resourceful.
Exactly.
The problem is that I had a conversation recently where someone said, I'm sick of the mandates. I refuse to work in an environment where they're going to make me get booster shots. And I'm going to vote Democrat. And I'm like, I'll be honest, I don't think Republican gets you out of here either.
They don't.
But this idea that people can keep sticking their hand into the fire and eventually get by, no. I think what we need are people to just start overtly telling their jobs, telling the businesses, no, I will not comply. I refuse. In New York City, they have lied in San Francisco, in LA, they have lied. They have stated, we've always had vaccine mandates. No, we haven't. True. We've never had a circumstance in which you were denied public accommodation because you refuse a government-mandated medical procedure.
Yeah. There are small things you can do. I mean, people sometimes they feel powerless and they want to push back. And how do you? Because most of the things we need to survive come from huge corporations, and huge corporations are easily, but are everywhere. They're omnipresent. But there are small things you can do. Like one of the simplest ones, I closed my Bank of America account. I didn't have a ton of money, but my direct deposit of my paycheck, I had my loan through them. Took all my money. I went to a small little bank of Clark County because I live in rural Virginia, or a credit union. Yeah. And when they said, why do you want to close your accounts? I said, because your philanthropy and your $1 billion to Black Lives Matter, I can't be part of that. If you have profits, you're making it from me, and I can't be part. So there are little small things you can do in those decisions that you make. You can't necessarily get rid of your iPhone. You can't necessarily, but...
I want to say, first and foremost, right now, what you need to do is Google search your local representatives, your state rep, your state senator. Win these elections, because if the states can get to a convention of states, we can solve this very quickly. That's where we start. That's what needs to be done. Get prepared for the midterm elections and primary the establishment Republicans and the neocons. Get in the national populists and the more libertarian-minded individuals. Look at what New Hampshire is doing with the Free State Project. That's victory. I also want to make sure I read this one super chat someone pointed out. Regina Pontes says Obama went after James Rosen. You are correct. Yep. Absolutely. Obama went after more whistleblowers under the Espionage Act than all other presidents combined. Obama was a monster and a tyrant, and we got Donald Trump after him. Now we're back to Obama's administration. It's just Biden. Biden is basically Obama 2.0. Of course it's getting this bad. Let's read super chats because, man, that really lit me up. Dude, James O'Keefe may be one of the only investigative journalists we have left. There are many smaller individuals, but this is a guy who I've said it over and over again. He is angering the powers that be because he's one of the few people willing to stand up to the machine. And it's no surprise to me that we've reached this point where they're doing this. And this isn't just going after one journalist. It's going after an organization and all of their reporters.
So before we go to Super Chats, I just want to say earlier today I tweeted that the Black Lives Matter in New York City is talking about burning the place to the ground, and the FBI is doing things like investigating James O'Keefe. I don't think anyone is coming to save us. Yeah. So it's up to us. So we need to figure out what we're going to do about it.
No one will save you.
Florida,
you got to save yourself.
New Hampshire,
yep.
Texas. West Virginia.
Yes.
West Virginia, I think, is the worst of the bunch.
Maybe Virginia. Yeah, come on.
Maybe. I mean, there was some resistance, but I don't think the Republican Party is the path to freedom or victory. But primarying these establishment actors, it is still possible. We can do this peacefully with persuasion and resource. We've just never tried before. I think right now we are very, very close to a convention of states because at the state level, you have more honest and freedom-loving individuals. We have to stop ceding power to the federal government. We need states to start standing up. So vote. Google search right now who your state rep and state senator are. Look at that state senator in New Jersey.
Yeah.
We need more people to vote for good individuals. It doesn't mean Republican. Doesn't mean Democrat. Typically, it means no Democrats, though. But I don't think it's a guarantee you're going to get a good Republican. But in the Free State Project in New Hampshire, they're using the Republican Party as their vehicle towards freedom, and it's working. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out this channel Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Now, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you want more unfiltered and uncensored content with all of these guests, go to timcast.com and become a member. All of these guests you know and love in exclusive segments on our website where we are unrestricted in what we talk about, so you'll definitely not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.